Today I'm in the herb garden and I'm going to show you guys how to make horseradish from horseradish roots I grew myself. I started these from grocery store roots that I put in last spring. I don't recommend doing this because it can add viruses to your garden. Last year I did use some potatoes that sprouted in the bag, and I've been doing that for a few years. But last year it caught up to me and I did add a virus and all my potatoes turned to mush before I could harvest them. So I don't recommend using things from the grocery store. But that is how I started this horseradish. So let's get it out of the ground and see what we can do. Now it's already, right here, it already has a few shoots coming up, and then they got frosted again. Every time I get in there, I hear it popping. I want to leave some of the root and let it grow again. Let's see what we have. Here's some of... Okay, we'll leave that part in there and just bury it again. Most of the time you want to plant these in a pot and not in the ground because they will take over. In the environment that we live in, it's okay to do it in here because they get held back from the weather and the drought conditions. I actually thought it would be a little bit bigger. A bunch of worms in there. This garden had no worms before I put straw everywhere. Look at all those worms. Yay. Really happy about that. Alright, I'm going to take these pieces and wash them off with the hose. Alright, I'm going to get the dirt off outside here so I don't take it into the kitchen sink. Alright, here's what we're left with, and I'm going to dump the dirt back in the garden because there's still lots of worms. Alright, it's snowing, but before I go back in, I thought I would do an update on Lady. A friend came and showed me how to work YouTube, so hopefully my videos will get better and better. Here's her teeth. The back ones are starting to make a cone shape more than they were. So that's a little bit of a new change. Other than that, she's pretty much the same. Just getting bigger and bigger. Oh, Lady. Hi. You're a movie star. Hi. Okay, let's take the horseradish in the house and I'll show you how to make horseradish. Alright, this is what you're left with after taking all the brown off with the potato peeler. And then you can use the cheese grater to grate it into fine pieces, or the food processor, which is what I'm going to do. But first I'm going to cut it into smaller pieces. Okay, we want the consistency to be like a fine paste, or I do. You can have it chunkier, any way that you want to do it since you're making it yourself. Okay, so to turn it into a paste, we need to add some water. I've added about 3 tablespoons of water. I'm going to have to keep adding more. Every time I open the lid, this stuff is potent. Oh man, I gotta stand way back. It burns your eyes, burns your nose, everything. Okay, so now it's at the consistency I want. I'm going to freeze it. To freeze it, I'm going to drop it into an ice cube tray. This is the only one I have. I recommend using the normal one. these stars are sometimes hard for things to come out. The reason I'm doing this is I don't want to use all of this yet. I want it to stay fresh. And I'm going to, whenever we want some, take out one of these ice cubes, add some vinegar to it. The vinegar is what neutralizes the heat, but I'll add some vinegar to taste, and everyone will be different, however hot you want it. And then you add it to mayonnaise, or sour cream, or half and half. You have to experiment what you want. You need to experiment with it and do what you like the best. So I'm just going to continue doing this, and I'll show you when I'm done. When you add the vinegar to it, the longer you leave it in the vinegar, the more it neutralizes and it won't be as hot. So that's the other reason I'm going to freeze it and add the vinegar later. We like to have hot horseradish, especially when you're sick. It clears your sinuses. So now I'm just going to pop this in the... Alright, they're completely frozen now, and I'll get them out. And then I'm just going to store them in this container and put them in the...